Let's go ahead and solve this equation. Uh, there's different ways you can start, but I think a good way to start would be to first multiply both sides by 20 to get rid of this 20 over here. So we multiply the right side by 20, we multiply the left side by 20. These 20s cancel out. Then this 20 can be multiplied by the 8. So we're going to end up with 160 times x minus 15 equals just that, 4x plus 5. Okay, next step is to distribute the 160 into the parentheses. So you're going to end up with 160x minus, well, what's 160 times 15? That's the same as 16 times 15, but with a 0. So 6 times 5, 30. 1 times 5 plus 3 is 8. Add a 0. Then 6 times 1 is 6. 1 times 1 is 1. Let's add these. So 240, but remember, we're doing 160 times 15, so it's going to be 2,400. So 2,400 equals 4x plus 5. All right, next step is to combine like terms on both sides of the equation. So since this is a positive 4x, we're going to subtract 4x from both sides, giving us 156x minus 2,400 equals just that, the 5. Now let's go ahead and add 2,400 to both sides. So the left side will just be 156x. This cancels out, equals 5 plus 2,400. That's 2,405. Now we have to divide both sides by 156 so that these cancel out. And we end up with x equals 2,405 divided by 156. Now, I'm not sure if this is in simplest form, but the way to find out is to turn it to a mixed number. So let's go through the process of turning it to a mixed number. 2,405 divided by 156. 156 doesn't go into 224, but it does go into 240. So we put a 1 here. Then 156 goes there. We have to borrow from the 4, make it a 3. This becomes a 10. 10 minus 6 is 4. We can't do 3 minus 5, so we borrow from the 2. 13 minus 5 is 8. 1 minus 1 is 0. And then bring down the 5. Now, how many times does 156 go into 845? It's going to be 5 times. 5 times 156 is 780. Let's subtract. 5 minus 0 is 5. We can't do 4 minus 8, so that becomes a 7, that becomes a 14, and that gives us 6. And that's our remainder. So as a mixed number, it's going to be 15, that's the 15, that's the whole number, and 65 over 156. Just to make sure, 65, when we factor it, is 5 times 13. And those are both prime numbers. Let's see if 13 goes into 156. We know 5 does not, but maybe 13 does. 156 divided by 13 13 goes into 15 one time. 13 times 1 is 13. 15 minus 13 is 2. Bring down the 6. And then 13 goes into 26 2 times. So actually, both of these numbers can be divided by 13. 13 is a factor of both of them, which will give us 15. Now 65 divided by 13 is 5. And 156 divided by 13 is 12, like we just figured out here. So 15 and 5/12 is the final answer as a mixed number. And to get the improper fraction, we simply do 15 times 12. That's 180 plus 5, so that's 185 over 12.